Welcome to Scorched Earth and a general reading for the sign of Aries, Sun, Moon or Ascendant for the month of March. Baffling. I hope you're well. I'm using the Tarot of the Abyss for you today. So let's have a look and see what's going on with you. I have 3 cards for Aries. There's the first one, it's the Emperor. We have the 10 of Cups. Ooh, and the 8 of Pentacles. There we are. So Emperor, 10 of Cups, and the 8 of Pentacles. At the bottom of the deck we have the High Priestess, which is very nice. It's a card of Pisces. We've got the Hermit card behind that too. So we've got immediately a sense of you working. Hang on, I'm trying to work out the shape of what I'm being shown here. You've started moving to the beat of a different drum, Aries. That's what I'm being shown here. Shut the window, wind's a bit noisy. I'm going to get some clarifiers, but there's a shift here to a beat that is moving inside of you that is very, very different to what you've been experiencing recently. And this could have been coming in the form of spiritual downloads or just a feeling. You know, you're working purely on instinct at the moment. And it's come off the back of some really deep introspection that you've been involved with. And it's almost like you can hear things differently now. You feel things differently now. Oh, this is strong. I like this. Let's get some clarifiers. Tell me about the Emperor, please. We have the 7 of Cups and the 7 of Pentacles. Very telling. Tell me about the 10 of Cups, please. We've got the Hanged Man. We've got the Emperor again, and we've got the King of Wands. There. That's a lot of major arcana on the table already. Tell me about the 8 of Pentacles, please. We've got the Lover's card and we've got the 8 of Cups. So, King of Pentacles is at the bottom of the deck there. That's Taurus energy. It's pretty foundational, right? It's earth energy, so it's about the things that you build. I mean, the earth signs always want to be building something, and often a lot of their energy goes into creating foundations for things because they've got a plan, and you know they're constructing on top of whatever foundation they build. 2 of Wands underneath here as well. I feel like you are in the planning stages of bringing some big changes in. Actually, and the thing is, I think that they will look like big changes to other people, but for you they just feel like a fairly obvious corollary of the shifts that have been occurring in front of you. So to that end, they don't really feel that big. It feels more like a sense of alignment that's coming in. But let's not get ahead of myself too much. But this sense of you moving to the beat of a different drum is strong, and I don't feel like you can ignore it. I don't think that you want to ignore it, actually, Aries. Here we've got the Emperor card in your recent past. Now that is the card of Aries there. It's a card of planning and a card of strategy above anything else, but it's also a card of getting your shit together, and that message is kind of almost doubly so when we consider the fact that it's your card as well, right? Because your sense of identity and the authentic expression of your energy is all to be found here in this card. But it's clarified by the 7 of Cups and 7 of Pentacles, and this, like I said, I think is really telling. Not only are they both the 7s, so we've had you in a state of looking for answers for things, right? Very much borne out by what we saw under here with this Hermit card and this High Priestess. You've been looking for answers, but not outside of yourself, inside of yourself. And there has been a lot that has been quite confusing, and there's been a lot that has been, well, less than fucking optimal. I think that's probably the best way to put it. And I think that you're done with trying to engage with the world on that particular level, you know? So trying to weave all this in here, this beat of a different drum, that you're hearing. Now, it's almost like you've heard it for the first time and you're like, oh, I could do that instead. So rather than you going for answers and going within for answers, trying to find the answers to specific questions, it feels to me a lot like you've reframed your whole narrative. And so now it's not looking at the things that are confusing and doing this and that. It's like, I'm not actually going to get engaged with that at all. What I want to do is something else. I want to do something different. And the answers have sort of come by your refusal to engage with the things that are like this for you, you know. I always feel like, for me, the sevens are that point where you've moved away from something to, you know, a safe distance, and then you can stop and you can consolidate. There we go. I'm struggling for that word there. You can consolidate and go, well, actually, I don't really want to invest or divest any more energy in this. Maybe it's time to just cut my losses and move in a different direction altogether. This Emperor energy here feels to me like you are being more true to yourself now than you have been in the last year, perhaps 2 years, actually, because you're... Things have shifted, things have changed. This Ten of Cups feels to me like it isn't not just what you want, but it's also about the way that your priorities have shifted. You know, the Ten of Cups is about collective emotional fulfillment, right? It's fulfillment of more than just you, and so you might have children or partners or whatever to consider in this, or it might be something wider than that. It might be your friendship groups, it might be your community as a whole. But it feels to me like you're looking at everything differently. We have these interesting set of cards underneath here. And note we've got the Emperor again, which is your card again, and we've got the Hanged Man here, card of Pisces. So here we have an end and a beginning, because Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac and Aries is the first, right? So there's movement here for sure. But then we've got this King of Wands. Now, one of the things that I always feel about the Emperor is, although he's a fire sign, and quite often it's associated with doing things, he's always shown being in this rather static, rather rigid kind of configuration on the card. You know, he's sort of sitting on some sort of granite throne or something like that. You know, and he's going to be making hard decisions about things. That's what the Emperor does. It's important. He's got an entire fucking empire to run, right? But the addition of the King of Wands here adds an element of movement to this. So not only do we have your authentic energy, planning, strategizing, how do I bring to myself what it is that I want? And I feel like that's shifted. We also have action coming in to start the process, right? Start that process of alignment that I was talking about there, where you start working with the energy rather than against it. I don't think that you've been working against the energy, actually, Aries, because I think it's taken you exactly where you needed to be, because you needed to be in a place where you were uncomfortable before you finally got to the answers. And I do think a lot of this is about saying, well, actually, why am I trying to sit here and play to the rules of the game? This isn't even a game I want to play anymore. Why am I trying to learn these rules? Why am I trying to do it like this? You know, why am I trying to play Snap when what I actually want to play is chess over here? You know, it's that kind of aspect. So let's look at this Hanged Man. It's a card of great wisdom. It talks about illumination that comes from seeing the world from a different perspective. You know, the Hanged Man is the one card in the tarot that's based on myth that we can tell, right? It's Odin hanging himself upside down from the tree of knowledge so that he can see the world in a different perspective and gain knowledge from that, gain wisdom from that. Now that is the second card that we have. Third, really, I mean, if you want to look at it that way. But 2 cards of Pisces, that's Virgo. It's the third card that speaks about the internal for you. I mean, it's interesting because Aries is very much associated with that kind of outward directed spark of energy, like go off, do this thing. This is something much more considered, much more reflective. In some ways, possibly a little slower too, Aries. And you might have felt like you were slowed down quite a bit of late. But you're using the energy in the right way now. You know, rather than burning yourself out on situations that aren't giving you anything, feel like it's a full kind of back to the drawing board. And it's like, well, if the premise under which, you know, I exist, I interact with the world has changed, therefore it stands to reason that the way that I do things and the way that I feel about things and the way that I think about things has also changed in that way. I think you've leveled up, Aries, without even really noticing that you have, and it's possible because the outside world isn't giving you what you want yet, but maybe what you thought you wanted isn't actually what was right for you, wasn't your path, and now there's a different direction coming in, and you can hear it, you can feel it, and it's pulling you in a slightly different direction than one you had anticipated. But rather than trying to resist this, and this is probably true, most likely if you have had relationships that have kind of fallen apart in the last year and left you feeling in a state of kind of like, oh, I don't really know what this is. And it doesn't have to be romantic relationships, it can be any sort, you know. While you've been processing that, and while maybe in some ways you've been trying to hold on to it, you kind of lost sight of lost the audio on your own internal guide. This is what has come back to you now, Aries, and so whatever direction you go off in next, and you are moving in a direction, it feels like it's one that's more suited for you. It feels like one that you're increasingly committing to. Like, it's almost like the longer you sit with this, the more you're like, why didn't I see this before? But this makes sense. And you may not know where you're going either. I think for most of you that's probably the case. But it's about the small steps that you're taking now, you know, that will end up in, you know, it's like where you've got like a half a degree out when you're looking at a map. And you want to go to there. If you're half a degree out in your movement, you're going to end up over there by the time you've taken all of your steps, right? There's that sense that you know, maybe that you know that the compass has been out all of this time, and what you've got is kind of alignment to true north now. You're like, I can actually go where I want to go. And I may have to leave behind some of the things that are a bit more familiar, the things that were comforting. But at least I know where I'm going is accurate now, you know. That's the Chariot and the Strength card. Got the Ten of Swords at the bottom of the deck, so this transition's not been easy for you. I don't think for a second that it has been, and I think it's been quite protracted, actually. But there is an acceptance of this being the end, you know, almost like you've hit the bottom and you've, you know, come back up, but it's not a dead cat bounce. It's like, it's something so much stronger than that, because we've got the horse, I was about to say the horse, the Chariot, and the Strength card here. This is indicative of your personal growth, right? While you have been stuck in a state where everything was fucking wrong, it just wasn't going the way that you tried to make everything go, tried to plan everything. Nevertheless, you have been meandering your way to exactly where you were supposed to be, and it is time to move, right? That Chariot there, it is time to move. Now, this has come out underneath the King of Wands, who is, like I said, all about movement. He is the most... the Knight of Wands is probably more active than the King of Wands, but the King of Wands has that benefit of experience that the Knight of Wands doesn't. He just charges around kind of all over the shop, you know. The King of Wands is that more mature energy, going, I'll pick my battles, I will pick my journeys, I will pick all of these things, you know. He doesn't have anybody telling him what to do. It's all under his control. It's all under your control, Aries. So when we move here into what's coming towards you for March, we have the Eight of Pentacles. Now, more earth energy, interestingly, and again, an indication that things are moving slower than perhaps you would like, but this is a card of commitment and this is a card of mastery. This is just putting your nose to the grindstone and really working for something that you want to become expert in. And I'm not talking about whatever hobby you might have taken up or anything like that, although that could well be indicated. It's more a mindset, right? I have found my path now, and this is where I'm going. This is what I'm committing to. It could be that the thing that you're committing to is this mindset shift, and the thing that you are now becoming a master of is you. And what you do in the day-to-day to get you to where it is that you're wanting to go, because it feels like everything's shifted around of late, and this newfound wisdom, the beat of this new drum that you are hearing, it feels important to me, to you. It feels like it's like, yeah, this is where I need to go. I've got the Lover's card and that Eight of Cups down there. Now, this Lover's card, like I said, it's a card of harmony, it's a card of union and such like, but it is also a card of conscious co-creation, and the co-bit is really important here, because it's not just about you working with other people, coming into alignment with other people. In fact, I very rarely see it that way. It's about you making big decisions about where you go next. The co-bit is you coming into alignment with the energy that is trying to give you something, it's trying to show you something, it's trying to take you off in a particular path, right? And there's no doubt in my mind that in March you're going to be making some very strong decisions about where you go now, right? Very much still in the planning and strategy stages, at least has been in the last couple of weeks. But as this feeling, as this mindset shift is taking hold, as the drumbeat is getting louder and louder, you're like, I've got to go this way, I've got to go this way. And there will be things that you are leaving behind in order to do that, but I don't think it's before time, Aries. I think that you spent exactly as long as you needed to sitting with endings or things that you didn't want to end. And now it's time. Now you're ready. Now you're good to stand up and dust yourself off and go, right, well, I'm headed off in this direction now. Tell me about the Lover's card, please. Got the Emperor again and the Two of Wands here. Crossroads energy, but directed by you. So this is quite interesting, because the major arcana is kind of like the big universal energies that you don't really have any control over at all, right? They're the things that kind of step in, the archetypal journey of the Fool, right? Going through this cycle from the Fool right through to the world, and then starting again, doing it again, right? So when these major arcana energies, of which you have a considerable number now, start to play in our lives, we need to choose how we respond to them. So we can either, the whole range of human emotion is open to you at this point, right? But most often what we end up doing is kind of panicking or trying to hold on to what was before, because it's comfortable and it's familiar and all that sort of thing. Or we can gracefully accept that things are changing and now it's time for us to move in a different direction. And it's not easy. It absolutely is not easy. But that's my major arcana energy. When the minor arcana comes in, it's about the decisions that you make on the day-to-day, right? It's about the choices that you make. It's about the way that you choose to respond to any given action. So to have that Lover's card there that is talking about big life choices and alignments and stuff like that, And then to have you as the Emperor and the Two of Wands there. This is a crossroads energy. This is making a decision about the direction of travel, about where you move from here on out, right? It's, again, it's not quite it happening, because we would see that in the 3, but it is putting in the groundwork. You know, possibly you're researching. If you're planning on moving, perhaps you're researching places that you could move to. The 8 of Pentacles is at the bottom of the deck here, so there could be a change of job involved here. You can see that for certain. But there's a sense here of you coming into alignment with the idea that something needs to change and that your path is going in a different direction. There's an acceptance of this now. This 8 of Cups here does indicate that wherever you are right now and whatever situation you have been in, it has been less than optimal for you. The chap here in this 8 of Cups is all about going off to look for his 9th cup, and his 9th cup is his personal happiness, what is right for him. It's about the way that we take ownership over our own emotions as well, and the fact that you are choosing how you respond to things. You're moving a little bit slower than you would ordinarily move, for whatever reason that is. And for some of you, it's because of a heartbreak or, you know, difficulties, emotional difficulties. But for others of you, it's just been a kind of stuckness, you know, without knowing which way to go. This chap here is off looking for his 9th cup. He knows it can't be found here where he's already amassed all of these cups. They just don't hold anything for him anymore. And now it's about going and finding something else. Tell me about this 8 of Cups, please. Thank you. Yeah. Couldn't have put it better myself. We've got the Page of Wands and we've got the 4 of Wands here. A Page of Wands is about getting ready for that movement. It's getting ready to go off in a direction. The 4 of Wands, it's a Leo card or it's an Aries card. Doesn't really matter, right? It's a fire sign because it's of the element of fire because it's Wands. But it's about the creation of a new foundation. You know, the 4 of Wands for me is home and everything that is indicated by the word or the feeling of home. So that isn't just your 4 walls, that is the people that you surround yourself with. It's where you feel comfortable. Where is your sanctuary? You know, where do you charge yourself up? It's all up for renewal. It's all up for change. Look at all of these Wands cards down here. We've got decisions to be made, okay, and thinking through the consequences of going in any particular direction. We've got the Page of Wands, where you start to really put these, whatever was decided here, into action here. Not yet quite movement, but definitely going in the right direction. And then we have the 4 of Wands. We have the creation of this new foundation. We have the consideration of perhaps of what that new foundation would look like, would feel like, and where it takes you to. Because the foundation is just the bottom level, you know, and from there, obviously, you're going to be wanting to build. But I think there's a lot here that suggests that a previous foundation really has run its course, and now it's about evolving beyond, you know, being so much bigger than the challenges that have been in front of you, so that you can create this and use this as a springboard for something different. This is really interesting, Aries. It's very considered, it's very reflective. I like this. So, if this has resonated with you and you would like to go a little bit deeper, I am going to go over to Vimeo now and we're going to pull March apart a little bit and have a look at it and see what's going on. So if you would like to join me over there, the link is in the description box. If not, no shade, not a problem. I will see you next time. But I don't really have any worries for you, Aries. Looking at this, I feel like you're emerging from a dark period. And now things are just starting to make sense in a way that they couldn't before. It's like something's been activated within you, and now the direction feels much more in alignment with who you are now, rather than who you were this time last year, you know? Anyway, know that I love you all very, very much, and I will see you soon.